I'm praying that the lens is clean because I managed to stick my finger on it as soon as I was trying to get the camera out the little case. Hello and welcome back. You know where you are, first of all, before we get into it. If you are new here, please make sure to like. Drop me a comment as to what you'd like to see from me in the future. I know you're new, but let me know what sorts of things you're interested in. That's going to help me with creating more content on here. And most importantly, please subscribe. Now, today is a very exciting day. It is a lower session in the gym. I'm going to take you along with me to go through my session, just get to train with me, see what my session is like. It's a lower 2 session. So it's actually an interesting one. I have only got 4 exercises in that session, with my training essentially getting better, with me learning to be a little bit more intense, a little bit more, accurate with my training. The overall volume of my sessions has come down massively. So I tend to have 5, maybe 6 exercises per session max. And for example, like today's session, I've only got 4 exercises that I'm going to be going through, just because I'm able to just be a lot more accurate with my training, like I said, and I'm able to give my all to my sessions a lot more as well. Every single set matters. Today's session is glute drive. So we're going to start off with a glute drive, moving into a banded dumbbell RDL, followed by a Smith machine split squat, and going into glute med kickbacks. So nice basics, some really, really good exercises, essentially just focusing on doing the basics well, doing the basics right. So that's going to be my session today. I have just pulled up at the gym. I like to park a little bit further away from the gym so that I can, kind of get a little bit warmed up whilst walking to the gym, get some steps in, get myself moving before I get cracking with everything, have a think about my session as I'm walking as well. I've had some good music on whilst driving to the gym as well. When I'm going to the gym, I put my phone on Do Not Disturb. Work stops as soon as I kind of leave the house to go to the gym. I have a drive to the gym, getting ready for the gym, getting pumped up, thinking about my session, focusing on just getting in a good mood, because I want to get into the gym and I want to feel good whilst I'm there. So I try and leave any sort of, not worries, but everything else that I need to worry about later for later. I focus on the task at hand, which is me going to the gym and being the best athlete that I can be. So we're going to get cracking. I'm going to go to the gym. Let's get going. I need to get a bit of a move on because I need to pack. I'm going to Poland tomorrow. Well, today I need to drive to my parents' house just because it's a little bit closer to the airport, as the flights nearest to me have been cancelled to the part of Poland I need to go to. Very rude, but we're going to get cracking, get through the session, talk you through some of the exercise that I'm doing, and yeah, let's get going. We are going to start off with a glute drive. This is one of those exercises that I used to really, really struggle with, just because I'd feel it more in my quads than anywhere else, and I thought, oh, I'm doing it wrong. Now, one thing to remember with exercises like this is you cannot completely isolate what muscle you work. With a glute drive, your glutes, your hamstrings, your quads are all going to be working. Yes, you can work on making sure that one certain muscle group does more than the others, but you can't completely isolate it. So something to just bear in mind. With the setup, when it comes to glute drive, I'd always recommend, glute drive, hip thrust, anything like that, just try and make sure that you have a 90-degree angle in your knee and that your knees are right directly above your ankles. Keep that nice and vertical. If the platform is ever so slightly slanted, you're going to be thinking about 90 degree to the floor to keep that sort of stacked and that's going to help with keeping the tension on the glutes as much as you can. And the key is, don't lift too much, don't ego lift. Focus on lifting what you can lift with your glutes. So not essentially ending up with a banana back with, you know, arching loads through your lower back, you know, trying to use your whole body to move the weight. No, making sure that that back stays nice and essentially flat against the back pad. You keeping your hips tucked under and all of your glutes actually doing all the work, you know. Let's put the ego to the side, maybe lift a little bit less, but get more for your glutes. I mean, that way you don't have to carry as many plates around. So I think that's a win-win. Oh, I'm going to warm up and work up to my normal sort of working set weight. Let's see how this feels. Sound. Oh. So, what I said about keeping your back tucked under, well, hips tucked under, literally think hips under, back flat against the back pad so that your glutes are doing all the work rather than ending up with a arch and the banana back and the pumped lower back. Feels good. Reps up. Oh, what we love to see. Now I get to go heavier. See how I've said I park a little bit further away from the gym? It's absolutely pissing it down. Well, let's hope it stops before I go to the car.
Somebody in one front there is
I feel so hot. God, I need to take this fleece off. This fleece is amazing, by the way. It's from Engineered Muscle. Riz and Dee do such a great job with the different supplements they're formulating at the moment. Plus they're bringing out some sick merch. So once you're warm now, I need to get it off. So we are on to banded RDLs. With banded RDLs, I always use this cable stack to put my band on. Just, you want something, you know, nice and stable to put a band against, because that's something that's going to be pulling on your hips. With banded RDLs, I would say try and nail the basics first before you try and add a band and try and make it more difficult. You know, it's one of those things like, don't try to run before you can walk. If you're quite new to training, if you're not sure about your RDLs, you can always drop me a message. We can go through that together. I can give you some tips if there's anything you can do to, you know, get more out of it. And you know, you might be at a point where adding a band is actually going to benefit you. But essentially, with an RDL, the movement is the most difficult right at the bottom, right in that stretch. Adding a band just makes it a little bit more difficult at the top as well. Just adds that extra level of difficulty throughout. I have got a goal for this movement to get 55 kilograms RDL, 55 in each hand. Hopefully I can get it this year. In my lower one session, I actually start with a set of banded RDLs, and I find obviously because you're not pre-fatigued, that's where I'm at my strongest. So we'll see how I get on today. I find with it being the second movement after hip thrusts, I do struggle. Well, I can't quite match the weight with this movement if I do it in this order, but still getting stronger. If I can progress this with it being the second movement of the day, I know for a fact I'm going to progress with it being the first movement of the day. So let's get cracking. I'm going to do a few warm-ups just because 55s, well, we're not going to 55s, but trying to get up to about 50 kilograms I'm working with roughly around now. Yeah, I wouldn't pick them up first. I want to work up to that weight, get the feel for the movement, get the feel for how I'm feeling today in terms of strength, make sure that I can prevent any sort of injury, that I can. So remember to do your warm-ups. Right, most awkward movement to get into award goes to banded RDL. Christ. Sweating. I genuinely don't know how some of you girls manage to look so good whilst training. Please teach me, because 10 minutes in and I look like Hagrid. Oh, I bet my neck can breathe. You may have noticed me zipping this. In here I've actually got 5 grams of protein, 5 grams of wheat, and 10 grams of carbs. And I just sip this throughout the session and aim to have it finished roughly around when I go into my last movement, or as I'm doing the first set of my last movement. Just helps me with a little bit of energy throughout training. If you think about the sort of time gap from pre-workout to post-workout, that's quite significant, so having this helps. I'm going to have my MPS max, which is essentially essential amino acids, so I'm going to have that in a little bit as well. MPS, muscle protein synthesis, as the name suggests, supports that. So I always have that halfway through my session. So after this movement, I'm going to have that. I've got that in the second shaker. I can only apologise for the sound effects. The only thing about this movement is if the band, because I always have double band just to make it a little bit harder. Does that make sense? Rather than just having the one loop and separate through it, have double. If they roll, if any of them rolls up, it kills them in the hips. Flat, there we go. Oh. Right, it's not bad. This is just such a graceful movement to set up. Oh. from trying to get into the band, the super graceful dumbbell carrying, to look. It's a look. It does wind me up though, when people don't put the dumbbells where they're supposed to be. Like, this is where roughly the weights that I'm doing usually go. Why would you put 48 behind all the other dumbbells? Why the 17s and 18s? That's the thing. It's right weather. Dumbbells mean. So I'd have to really pick it up high. And I like to think I shot the load actually. Get good song on. I've been listening to, I'll show you, I think you can see. I've been listening to Turtle Style, their newest album, Never Enough. Very good. See why it won a Grammy. But I'll listen to that. Oof. Oof. Oh, I was losing grip then. Shoot it now. So, let's go. Just on the floor, so I literally got here, sick of my head, stood in front of the phone being like, what is that film? And I'm like, right, who's that film? What's that on? And then I realised that I was like, stood in front of it, in front of the camera. Thankfully the guy hasn't started, so half favourite machine. Like they could all be exactly the same. You could have a favourite. None of my favourites are fruit to me. So I stuck with this one. I find when training lower body, you know, guys take the piss. I don't always do this with their t-shirt. The only thing is, if you're doing any sort of RDL split, otherwise, you just feel restricted by your top. Feel like it's kind of pulling, it's really off-putting. That's where kind of folding over is necessary. Ooh. This is me. It's like naturally pulling to turn inward to rack. Just fucking annoying. So I felt like I had to fight it. Oof. I feel relatively good when I didn't feel like I was fighting it from fracking and catching or with hooks. Oh god. Except her leg to go. I've got a right egghead at the minute, but at least my neck can breathe. See what I mean? All the girls, they look absolutely fantastic while I was training. Teach me. Do you just put up with it? Do you just put up with the feeling of getting hot? Or do you just not sweat? Not like a bed sweaty. Should probably not be putting this out. But here we are. Egghead it is. For fuck's sake. Just my luck. The usual cable stack that I use with movement. It's not available. So here we are. I'm going to have to use this one. Shall see how that goes. Now I'm going to do a glute med back. With this, I find everyone needs to do a little bit of tweaking to find what works for them. With this, I found rather than going fully side on or going like that and move my leg out to the side, I angle my non-roll slightly and then travel out with that leg in line with the cable. So I'm technically moving my leg at a 45-degree angle to my hip, and that works my glute med really nicely. I've got these cuffs, which are awesome. I've got quite small ankles and wrists. These are from Hard Body, and they fit nicely around my ankles. Same with the lifting straps. You know, the padding that goes around your wrist. Sometimes I find with certain brands, once I want to get the lifting straps tight, I actually can't because of how big it is, but the Hard Body ones fit me nicely, so would highly recommend. Right, let's see how this goes. Good. Feeling another cup, which is lovely. It's a nice session. Like I said, there's only 4 exercises, but effort remains the same throughout. One through always. If you could put effort into the first few exercises of a session and then you just half-half the rest, what's the point of doing the rest? You know? Make sure that you put effort into every single exercise, every exercise in your session has a purpose. So if you find yourself, maybe your physique falling short in certain aspects, ask yourself, are you putting the effort in all the way throughout the session? You might not be. Oh. 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 On that note, oh. There we go, there we go. Oh, I'm done. I sometimes wonder what's the point of me doing my hair, because this is what it looks like after my session. Oh. I'm going to sort myself out, have a wee, and go. But that's my session done. So, major error on my part. I said, oh, I park further away so I can get steps, which is not usually a problem if it's raining because I tend to have a hoodie on that has a hood, but not today. Today I've put a fleece on and there isn't a hood there and my hair is soaked. Like I said, what's the point of me trying to do it? Because it gets wet, I get sweaty, it gets wet, and I end up looking like Hagrid anyway. So there's that. Anyway, it was a really good session. Even though I couldn't use my favourite Smiths. I couldn't use my favourite cable stack. It's just shit happens, right? No, it was a good session. Felt good. It was nice to kind of, have a solid session just before I have a few days to rest. Bit annoyed about me losing grip on my dumbbell RDLs on my second set. But shit happens. I'll just do better next time. It is what it is. I struggle with being able to like grip fully around the dumbbells. It's not an excuse, but essentially I have to use the lifting straps, and then if I don't strap myself in properly, which is my fault, I end up losing grip slightly. But time to get home, have my post-workout, pack, because I've not packed, and I need to go to Derby today to stay with my parents so we can drive down to London tomorrow morning for my flight. I've got a bone to pick with all these airports in the north. Leeds, what are you playing at? Why are you removing flights to Gdansk? Doncaster, why did you close? So yeah, unfortunately that means it's a right mission to get to the airport, but it is what it is. Just going to get home, crack on with some work, pack, etc. Prep my food for the rest of the day and tomorrow morning. Early flight. And yeah, like I said, nice summary, nice good session, some nice progressions on the hip thrust and on the top set of the RDL2. Quite hard to say when it comes to the Smith split squats and kickbacks, just because they're different machines and I'm a sucker for getting stuck to the same machines. But I think relatively still a nice strong session. So yeah, nice one. Now, if you have enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, to drop me a comment, let me know what you thought, what you'd like to see in the future, and most importantly, please subscribe so I can carry on putting videos out for everyone to see, hopefully help with educating you, just sharing my journey as well. Don't know what that accent was, but yeah, sharing my journey and just sharing, what it's like to be a bikini athlete / coach / input whatever you think in here. But right, that's going to be me done. I'm going to drive home, eat, and that's it for today. See you in the next one.